Okay, good morning, how are you? Good morning to everyone. So today we take up the topic concerned with calculus, namely its differentiation. Already you are well known in first year PUC. We shall first have that idea of first year PUC concept. Then we go to extension of the differentiation. Actually, second PUC start from differentiation of composite functions, implicit functions, one function with respect to other functions, parametric function, so successive differentiation, etc. But it is quite obvious to have knowledge of PUC first year in brief manner. Then we can advance to an important concept of the differentiation concerned to second year PUC. So already you know in first year PUC regarding function, types of function, before that constant, variable, everything been studied in deep. Again we have its recapitulation. Firstly comes constant, a quantity which does not changes its value in any given context, that is called as constant. Usually constants are denoted by letter capital A, capital B, capital C, capital D up to capital K. These are all notations we are going to use to represent a constant. And further, one can use sometimes even more number of times small letters also, like small a, small b, small c, small d up to small k. These are all various notations we are going to use to represent a constant. Further comes a variable, a quantity which changes its value in a given context, that is called as variable. And usually variables are denoted by capital X, capital Y, capital Z, U, V, etc. Even we can use a notation like small x, small y, small z, etc. And the best example for the variable is that price of an item. So price of an item will not remain constant. It will go on changing. You can take any price of onion, tomato, any item you take, that value will go on changing. It is nothing but it's a actually variable. So further comes function. But function concerned to calculus, but not concerned to topic relations and function. That is different. Here it is different. Suppose x and y are two variables. Already we seen that variables, it is a quantity which can change its value. If one variable depends on other variable, that means one variable takes value from other variable, that means one variable changes with respect to other variable. In particular, if y changes with respect to variable x, then we say that y is dependent on x. We also say that y is function of x, and y is function of x denoted by y is equal to f of x. This is representation we are going to use to denote a function. In this notation, y is called as dependent variable, x is called as independent variable, whereas f is not a variable, not a constant. It's a representation of function, and f may be algebraic function, f may be trigonometric function, f may be logarithmic function, f may be exponential function, f may be any other function. One more thing, keep in mind that it is not necessary to use notation f. You can use notation g, you can use notation h, you can use notation phi. Any notation can be used to represent function, but more generally we use the notation f to represent a function. Even you can say that z equal to g of t. In this representation, z is dependent variable, t is independent variable, whereas g represents notation of function. Then comes some different types of functions. Already you might have studied in PUC first year. but we shall just take its flashback. There comes explicit function, implicit function, parametric function, exponential function, inverse trigonometrical function, etc. Firstly, explicit function. A function in which dependent variable y can be directly expressible in terms of independent variable x. That is called as explicit function. Means y value can be got directly from the value of x. So say for instance y equal to x square, y equal to sin x, etc. These are all explicit functions in the sense for each value of x there is directly corresponding value of y. For example, in this case, if I take x equal to 1, y becomes 1 square, nothing but 1. If I take x equal to minus 2, y becomes minus 2 whole square, nothing but 4. So here we can calculate value of y directly from value of x. Such a function is called as an explicit function. Then comes implicit function, a function in which dependent variable y cannot be expressible directly in terms of independent variable x, or it can be expressible in terms of x after some suitable steps like squaring, shifting that side, shifting this side, taking log, whichever suits that function is called by the name implicit function. In other words, implicit function is one where we cannot get value of y directly from value of x. For example, if we take the expression, namely x to the power of y plus y to the power of x equal to some constant k, this is an implicit function in the sense if you go on assigning value for x, you can't get directly value for y because we can't get y directly in terms of x. So that's why this function is called by the name an implicit function. And the general notation of implicit function is f of x comma y is equal to 0. In some cases, in some books, it can also be taken as f of x comma y is equal to constant k or constant c, whereas general representation of explicit function is that y is equal to f of x. And after this, there comes two more important functions, namely odd function and even function. So after this, two more functions are there. Still, we have many more functions that we shall see in the later stage. Right now, two more functions, namely odd function and even function. A function f of x said to be odd. And one more thing, keep in mind in calculus, whenever we write f of x, it is always understood that y equal to f of x. If you write y, don't write y, it is always understood. A function f of x said to be odd if f of minus x is equal to minus of f of x. That means to test whether given function is even or odd, the main thing is that we have to replace x by minus x. After replacing x by minus x, if entire sign wheel changes, then we say that function is odd. On the other hand, if f of minus x is equal to plus f of x, means in spite we change x to minus x, the function remains unchanged. Such a function is called by the name an even function. And so many examples can be delivered for odd function, even function. A regular example, for example, f of x equal to sin x. It is an odd function in the sense because when we change x to minus x, f of minus x will be equal to now sin of minus x. So recall PUC first year trigonometry, in particular allied angles. We have seen that sin of minus theta is equal to minus of sin theta. That's why now sin of minus x will become minus of sin x. But thereby sin x is already assigned as f of x. Hence it will be equal to now minus of f of x. So what we can now say is that function sin x is an odd function because it is obeying the condition f of minus x equal to minus of f of x. On the other hand, an example for even function, any example can be taken, not necessarily like lecturers. For example, f of x equal to x to the power of 4. It is an even function in the sense because when we change x to minus x, function remains unchanged. In particular, f of minus x will be equal to minus of x power 4. And by laws of indices or by laws of algebra, minus means minus 1 to the power 4 becomes plus 1. It's all overall going to become x to the power of 4 and it is equal to plus f of x. Hence, in this case, x to the power 4 can be called by the name an even function. And we have some very good symptoms of odd function, even function. They will be very much useful in integration. In particular, odd function into odd function. Always it is equal to an even function. Odd function multiplied by odd function always equal to an even function, whereas odd function multiplied by even function is always equal to an odd function. Like this we can have a list of such quantities. Similarly, even function into odd function becomes odd function. Even function into even function will become always an even function. Further, constant plus or minus even function is always an even function. All these are very important points to be very much helpful, especially in definite integrals. And after studying these types of function, just have an again brief idea of derivative of a function which already noted in PUC first year. Let's consider a function y equal to f of x. Let us call by equation name 1. As we seen that x and y are variables, hence they can change their values. In particular, suppose x changes to value say x plus delta x. Because of y is dependent on x, means whenever there is change in x, there will be a corresponding change in y. Obviously, corresponding change in y will be say y changes to y plus delta y. So let's implement new value of x, new value of y in 1. 1 becomes y plus delta y is equal to f of x plus delta x. Call this as equation 2. After this step, let's subtract equation 2 from equation 1. Means let us consider equation 2 minus equation 1, which now implies that left side y plus delta y minus y, whereas right side f of x plus delta x minus of f of x. So because of the subtraction, left side y will get cancelled. Left is delta y equal to f of x plus delta x minus of f of x. After this step, for this equation, let us divide both sides by quantity delta x. So let's divide this equation both sides by delta x. Now what it gives is that delta y by delta x equals to f of x plus delta x minus f of x divided by delta x. Keep in mind these steps. First take the function y equal to f of x. As x and y are variables, they can change their values. In particular, x changes to x per delta x, then corresponding change in y will be y plus delta y. That will be taken in equation 1. Subtract 2 and 1. That gives this equation after dividing by delta x. Now let's measure this equation by taking limit as delta x tending to 0. So let us calculate this equation under the condition limit as delta x tends to the left side limit delta y by delta x as delta x tending to 0. Right hand side limit delta x tending to 0 for that entire quantity. The quantity is f of x plus delta x minus f of x divided by delta x. When you retrace the PUC first year concept, so many times we met in first year PUC, such limits always they will have in a form 0 by 0, which is called as an unpredictable form or indeterminate form. Means it's a no doubt mathematical expression, but its value cannot be determined. We can't say how much its value actually. We can't think that like this 0 ones are 0 ones are, then the answer become 1, it is meaningless. So such a quantity it is called as by the name indeterminate form or unpredictable form. Means we can't predict actually what value it is going to take. So right now it is happening same thing. When we replace delta x by 0, numerator, denominator both will under 0 and 0. That means now this expression tending to 0 by 0 form, which is the invalid value. However, using PUC first year methods, it may be method of substitution, it may be method of rationalization, it may be method of trigonometrical formulas, it may be any other methods which are noted in PUC first year. On using those methods, if this limit value we are able to calculate, if this value exists. In mathematics, word exists means value become definite real number. 100% it is possible, but using suitable steps, as I said, like rationalization, like adding, subtracting, like using any other methods, if it is this value exists, will become real number, then that value, whatever value we get, that is called by the name derivative. So derivative means it is nothing but value of limit of f of x plus delta x minus f of x divided by delta x, provided value should become a known real number. Further, this process is not the differentiation. Differentiation different, derivative different. Derivative means limit of all this quantity, whereas the process of finding derivative of a given function y equal to f of x, that process is called as differentiation. So differentiation is a process of finding derivative, whereas derivative nothing but value of limit of f of x plus delta x minus f of x divided by delta x. Further, derivative of a function usually denoted by various notations. The basic notation is for derivative is dy by dx. It is being also denoted by f dash of x, or it is also denoted by y dash, or it is also denoted by y1, or also denoted by capital D of y, also denoted by capital D of f of x. These are all various notations, but their meaning is unique. Their meaning is to represent derivative of a function. Notations are various, but meaning stands for everything same. And actually here f dash, y dash, y1, capital D of y, capital D of f of x, they are all also called by the name first order derivative. It is also called by the name first order derivative of a given function y equal to f of x. So by all this explanation, what it comes to know is that now dy by dx is equals to limit delta x tending to 0 f of x plus delta x minus f of x divided by delta x, provided right hand side limit must exist. It is always understood. It is not necessary to every term that exists. It is understood. Provided that right hand side limit must exist. Further, this formula we can write in another simplest format. Instead of delta x, we shall take delta x as h. On taking delta x as h now, this formula will become as dy by dx is equals to limit h tending to 0. You keep in mind, for delta x I am taking as h, but meaning does not changes. F of x plus h minus f of x divided by h, and again I am using the word as already told, provided that limit must exist, means value should become non-real number. And what already we have noticed that two notation like delta x, delta y, these are actually called as increments in x and increment in y. Delta x is called as increment in x, delta y is called as increment in y. They may be, however, very small, but they can be positive or negative. It is not considerable, but they can be changed. They can be positive, they can be negative. However, they are very small in their nature. In particular, the ratio delta y by delta x. Notice that it is ratio corresponding to increments. So it is also called by the name incrementary ratio. In particular, limit of delta y by delta x as delta x tend to 0, that is called by the name derivative of a function. As we discussed, it is being denoted by f dash of x or dy by dx. Here we should be very careful that in the notation d by dx of y, one should not get confused. Here d stand for the symbol of derivative, dx stand for the symbol derivative with respect to x, and y is the function which is undergoing the process of derivative. Under any circumstances, this cannot be written as y d divided by dx. It is completely meaningless. Meaningful is that d by dx of y, but we write in a running matter dy by dx. Just like in case of our normal algebra, what we have seen is that root of 100. Root of 100 is meaningful. Its value is actually taken as 10. But you can't write this as 100 and after that root, it is totally meaningless. Because 100 is undergoing the process of square. Like that here y is undergoing the process of derivative. In this representation, d stands for derivative, dx stands for with respect to x, and y stands for function which is actually undergoing the process of derivative. So derivative different, differentiation different, differentiation is process, derivative is limit of all this quantity. Further, this process means taking the function, changing x to x plus h and applying limit etc. It is called by the name differentiating given function by first principle or by basic methods or basic principle method. Under this head, in first year PUC, we have seen some various functions derivative formula. But all those proofs were there in PUC first year. I am just giving those direct formulas. Recall PUC first year, we seen that d by dx of constant k means a derivative of constant k, nothing but differentiation of k with respect to x. Its value noted in PUC first year as 0. Y etc. already you know in PUC first year because of that formula. Similarly, we have seen that d by dx of function x, it is always equals to 1. Similarly, d by dx of x to the power of n, it is equals to n into x to the power of n minus 1. Like this, in first year PUC, we have seen various formulas. And you keep in mind what I am taking is just concerned with PUC first year, still not concerned with PUC second year. And after this, these formulas in first year PUC, we have seen some various rules. In this world, take any process, without rules, any process cannot be completed correctly. Like that, there are some rules in differentiation, like product rule, sum rule, quotient rule, etc. Let's recall those rules. Firstly comes rule like d by dx of constant k into function u, where k is constant, u is function, and this rule says that constant k can be kept outside the function, that is outside the derivative, namely k into du by dx. Means whenever we have any product of constant and function, only constant can be kept outside the derivative, but not the function which is undergoing for differentiation. For instance, d by dx of 10 into x to the power 7. By this rule, what we can do is that constant 10 can be kept outside the differentiation, that is 10 into differentiation of x to the power of 7. And further, we can apply PUC first year formulas, namely standard formula that is concerned with differentiation of x to the power of n, 10x to the power of n minus 1. So using that formula now, 10 into. So here n means 7, 7 into x power 7 minus 1. But 7 into 10 is 70 into x power 6. Here, what you have to keep in mind is that constant should be kept outside, but not the function which is undergoing for the derivative. Then comes the sum rule of differentiation. What it says is that d by dx of u plus or minus v, where u and v are functions of x. U and v are functions of x means u and v are in terms of x. They may be algebraic function, may be trigonometric function, may be logarithm function, etc. Now this rule says that we can differentiate u function, we can differentiate v function adopting the sign whichever existing, plus or minus. That is du by dx plus or minus dv by dx. This is called by the name sum rule of differentiation. What it says is that derivative of sum of functions is equal to sum of the derivatives. Further, this rule can be extendable. Suppose we have d by dx of u plus or minus v plus or minus w. Now, this rule is given by du by dx plus or minus dv by dx plus or minus dw by dx. Hence, this rule can be extendable for any number of functions. In general, it is called by the name sum rule. For example, suppose we wish to find d by dx of sin x plus tan x. So we need to apply here sum rule because we are undergoing differentiation of sum of two functions. The rule says that you have to adopt differentiation for sin x plus differentiation for tan x. That means it is equal to now derivative of sin x plus derivative of tan x. Now let's apply PUC first year standard formulas. We know that already in PUC first year derivative of sin x is cos x, whereas derivative of tan x is secant square x. Hence answer become cos x plus secant square x. Like this, one can implement some rules whenever it is needed. So don't think that these rules we are going to use every time. Not every time. Whenever these rules are supposed to use, you are supposed to use in this manner. And after this comes a product rule, followed by another very important quotient rule or division rule. Now let's study product rule. It says that d by dx of u multiplied by v means it is a differentiation of product of two functions. In them, one function is u, another function is v. The rule is given by keep u function as it is multiplied by derivative of v function, that is u into dv by dx, plus now keep v function as it is multiplied by derivative of u function, namely du by dx, which is called as the differentiation of product of two functions, also called as product rule of differentiation. And this formula, for the sake of our simplicity, student simplicity, can also be written in the format taking u as first function, taking v as the second function. This formula can be written as first function u as it is. That one circle indicates first function u as it is into dv by dx means derivative of second function, that is 2 dash. 2 dash stand for derivative of second function multiplied by first function as it is, plus now second function as it is multiplied by differentiation of first function, namely 1 dash. We can use notation dash or d by dx, does not matter, meaning remains same. For example, how to apply the product rule? Let's see from this example. Suppose you are given to calculate d by dx of x to the power of 5 into sec x. So here we should be very careful that, because most number of students will not unable to understand which rule we are going to use. You must see in between two functions whether we have sum, product or quotient. Now in between these two functions we have very clearly product. So we are now supposed to apply this product rule. Treat u as x power 5, v as sec x. So let's apply product rule. Before applying product rule, keep in mind, suppose if we have x to the power 5 plus sec x, you not supposed to apply product rule because that is concerned with sum, not concerned with product. You have to understand very clearly when sum rule, when product rule, when quotient rule are going to implement. Now clearly we need to apply product rule because these two functions are connected by them product. So let's have u equal to x power 5, v equal to sec x. Using this product rule, x power 5 as it is multiplied by derivative of second function, namely sec x. Now observe, I am using product rule because we are having differentiation of product of two functions. Next comes in formula plus. Now write plus v function as it is. What is v function? V function is sec x. Keep sec x as it is multiplied by differentiation of x to the power of 5. And one more thing keep in mind, don't think that your problem is over. Your problem is not over. We return according to product rule, but we not return still total answer. Now let's write a concerned term derivative answer. Here derivative not concerned, don't write its answer. Here also derivative not concerned, but here derivatives are concerned, so their answers must be written from PUC first year, that is x to the power 5. Recall PUC first year standard list of formulas. Derivative of sec x is given by sec x into tan x. Now it is sec x multiplied by tan x plus sec x into differentiation of x power 5. Using formula, the differentiation of x power n, what it says, nx power n minus 1, n is 5, so 5x power 4, 5 into x to the power 4. Further, if required, simplification can be done, or you can stop here as it is, because these are all just problems just to get idea about sum rule, product rule, quotient rule, etc. Not beyond that. And after this comes quotient rule, which is also called as division rule, which is applied to calculate the derivative of division of two functions. What it says is that d by dx means derivative with respect to x of the function u divided by v. Last one was u into v, so this is u divided by v, nothing but u quotient with v, that's why it is called by the name quotient rule. So what it says that first always you must write v square, means denominator whole square. Then write in the numerator v followed by differentiation of u, that is du by dx. Then write minus. You have to keep in mind very correctly, in product rule we had plus, whereas in quotient rule it will be accompanied with minus. Here some students will get confused. They apply quotient rule with plus and some of you will apply product rule with minus. That is your mistake, not a mistake of mathematics. So product rule concerned with plus, whereas quotient rule concerned with minus. Then u multiplied by dv by dx, this is called as derivative of quotient of two functions. It is also written in another way as 1 divided by v square, because whole divided by v square is equally same as 1 divided by v square multiplied by v into u dash minus u into v dash. Any kind of rotation can be taken, that left your convenience, either in the form of d or in the form of dash, does not change the meaning of the differentiation. Both are same in meaning, only different in writing. So it is called as quotient rule, or the differentiation of division of two functions. In particular, suppose we want to find dy dx of dy dx of x to the power of 2 divided by cot x. Let's apply quotient rule. Even one can apply here product rule also, because you can treat 1 by cot x as tan x, then it become product rule. But now let us use quotient rule rather than product rule, just to know how we can apply this quotient rule. So according to the quotient rule, what is u? X square. What is v? Cot x. First write denominator whole square. Means first write cot x whole square followed by denominator cot x. After this multiplied by, we have to write the derivative of numerator, namely d by dx of x square minus x square multiplied by derivative of cot x. But your work is not over. We return according to only the quotient rule formula, but not the final answer. Now let us write concerned term derivative answer. Next step, cot x multiplied by. Now recall PUC first year, differentiation of x square formula is 2x. Because general formula is nx to the power n minus 1. So cot x multiplied by 2x minus x square multiplied by, again recall formula of the differentiation of cot x from PUC first year. Formula for differentiation of cot x is minus of cosec square x, that is bracket minus cosec square x whole divided by cot square x. Further, if you wish, one more step can be taken, because here minus into minus will going to become plus. So that is equal to 2x into cot x, then plus x square into cosec square x divided by cot square x. This is the final answer for the differentiation of x square divided by cot x. As I said that even this problem can be solved by product rule, taking 1 by cot x as tan x. That also can be done. So especially in differentiation, what important is that rules and formulas. If you are aware of rules and formulas, easily you can handle any problem of the differentiation. And already you might be knowing in PUC first year, three more standard functions, namely a power x, e power x, log x, along with their derivatives, and that might be loaded in PUC first year. In particular, a power x, it is called by the name exponential function. Here a is a real number which is greater than 1. A function defined by fx equal to a power x, it is called by the name exponential function, and provided a is greater than 1. In particular, 2 power x exponential function, 5 power x exponential function, e power x exponential function, etc. In general, a power x, it is called by the name exponential function, and we have seen in PUC first year derivative of a power x, that is d by dx of a power x was given by a power x multiplied by log a, where a is greater than 1, it is understandable. And one more thing, in logarithms, especially in calculus, nothing base means it is always e base. It is understood that there is a base e, it is not necessary to mention. When there is no base in logarithms, it is always to be taken as e base, until it is given as other than e base. In particular, suppose d by dx of 7 power x. Using this formula now, as we noted that the differentiation of a power x is a power x into log a. So in place of a we have 7, answer becomes 7 power x into log 7 to the base e, understood. Similarly, d by dx of e power x, it will be equal to now e power x, because here instead of a we have e. Then comes the logarithmic function, that is being defined like this. If a power x, it's already noted thing, when you raise a number to some power, it is always equal to n some number. But importantly, this number is always positive, never becomes negative. This number, what it is equal to, it's always positive but never becomes negative. For instance, pi to the power of minus 2, result cannot be negative, it's always positive, because it is actually 1 by pi square, 1 divided by 25, the result is positive. So in general, let's consider a power x. A power x always equal to m. Keep in mind, m is always positive, a is greater than 1, x can be any real number, negative or positive. So if a power x is equal to m, then x is called as the logarithm of m to the base a. In particular, it is written as x equal to log m to the base a, and vice versa. Vice versa means whenever x is log m to the base a, it implies that a power x equal to m, and whenever a power x is equal to m, it implies that x is equal to log m to the base a. In this representation, a is called as base of logarithm, x is value of logarithm of the number m, and more importantly, as I said, m is always positive, a is always greater than 1, x is any real number. That's why logarithm of negative numbers will never be defined. Logarithm of negative numbers will not be defined, because m is always considered as positive number. So in particular, we see that 3 power 4 is always equal to 81. Now this indices form can be transferred to logarithm form, as a power x equal to m implies that x equal to log m to the base a. In place of x, what we have? 4. In place of a, what we have? 3. In place of m, we have 81. Now this implies, what implies log 81? Log 81 to the base 3 is always equals to 4. And vice versa. Means log 81 to the base 3 equal to 4 implies that 3 4 4 equal to 81. Similarly, as we know that 10 to the power of minus 3 is as good as 1 divided by 10 cube. It is nothing but 1 divided by, what is 10 cube? 10 square, 100. 10 cube will be 1000. 1 divided by 1000 as good as 0.001. So 10 to the power of minus 3 equal to 0.001 implies that in the form of logarithms, minus 3 equals to log of 0.001 to the base 10. So this is in exponential form, this is in logarithm form. Both are same in meaning, same in value, but writing notations are different. So this is exponential form, this is logarithm form. And there are some rules or basic laws of logarithms already you might have seen in earlier classes, maybe in high school, even in PUC first year. And those rules are like this. Log m to the base a plus log n to the base a it is always equal to log of m into n to the base a. So keep in mind this formula. What it says that log m to the base a plus log n to the base a equal to log of m into n to the base a. And to apply this formula, probability base must be same. If base are different, this formula cannot be applied. Similarly, log m to the base a minus log n to the base a, it is equal to log of m divided by n. Log of m by n equal to log m minus log n. Similarly, log m raised to n to the base a equal to n into log m to the base a, etc. Like this, there are various rules of logarithms. Already you have studied in earlier classes. As I said that our actual second PUC, the differentiation concept start from composite functions, but it is all just a recapitulation so that upcoming composite function differentiation will be very much understandable easily. Let's take some more example concerned to differentiation. For example, if y equals x to the power of minus 4 plus tan x, then find dy by dx. This is the question, and we are asking to find, or we are asking to calculate derivative of this function. So take solution. Whatever function given, first write it. What is the given function? Given function is x to the power of minus 4 plus tan x. So as we are supposed to find dy by dx, you must write the word compulsorily that differentiating with respect to x. Differentiating with respect to x on both sides. That is dy by dx. In right hand side, you must be aware of that which rule it is going to be adopted, whether it is sum rule, product rule, quotient rule, etc. But now in between these two functions we have sum, so we need to apply sum rule. By sum rule we have to apply the differentiation for x to the power of minus 4 plus differentiation for tan x. That means it is now dy dx of x power minus 4 plus dy dx of tan x. Now recall standard formulas. Here let's apply formula differentiation of x to the power of n into x to the power of n minus 1. In this case n is minus 4. So answer is minus 4 x to the power of minus 4 minus 1. Whereas here directly the differentiation of tan x formula is secant square x plus secant square x. Or on simplification minus 4 x to the power of minus 5 plus secant square x. This is the answer for the derivative of x to the power of minus 4 plus tan x. So let's take another example. Suppose you are given y equal to, given that y equal to cos x multiplied by x to the power of 7, then question is that find dy by dx. You must be very much aware of that for the given function whether they are connected by sum or product. Here two functions are connected by product, so we are supposed to apply compulsorily product rule but not sum rule. So let's differentiate both sides with respect to x. On differentiating both sides with respect to x, left side symbol will be dy by dx, right side notation dy dx of cos x into x to the power of 7. And here two functions are connected by product, we need to apply compulsorily product rule. Recall scheme of product rule. What it says, first function into differentiation of second plus second function into differentiation of first. You can treat anything as first, anything as second, that is immaterial. So let's treat cos x as first function, x power 7 as second function. According to that, first function cos x as it is into derivative of x to the power of 7 plus second function x to the power 7 as it is multiplied by the derivative of cos x. Next step, cos x into derivative of x power 7 will be 7 into x to the power of 6 because of formula nx power n minus 1 plus x power 7 into derivative of cos x is sin, in fact minus sin x. Further, you can make one step extra for the sake of simplification, and that simplification is that we can take common x to the power of 6. With common x to the power of 6, that is 7 into cos x minus x into sin x will be the final answer. Still we have furthermore concepts that we shall meet in the tomorrow class.